Number 9. The B-52 Stratofortress. First flown in 1952, the B-52 Stratofortress is a reliable bomber built by Boeing. It was originally designed as a plane that could reach the Soviet Union to drop an atomic bomb. However, the plane has been used in combat missions from the Vietnam War until the war in Iraq. It's big, reliable, and downright scary. The B-52 has a wingspan of 185 feet and measures 160 feet long. 8 engines power the plane, which can reach a maximum of 600 miles per hour when flying at an altitude of 50,000 feet. Originally, this plane carried a crew of 6. The B-52 had a gun at the tail and was remotely operated. It was the only defense against enemy planes. The gun was removed in 1991 and the crew was reduced to 5. B-52s during the 1960s were given larger fuel storage and were equipped to be refueled during flight, as well as the bomb storage capacity improved. Another additional feature of the 1960s was arming the planes with air-to-surface missiles and anti-ship missiles. By the 1980s, the B-52 could carry air-launched cruise missiles with nuclear capabilities. The B-52 was used during Operation Desert Storm, and they were responsible for dropping 40% of the bombings. Most importantly, the B-52 is not only used for bombing missions. According to the U.S. Air Force, it is highly effective when used for ocean surveillance and can assist the U.S. Navy in anti-ship and mine-laying operations. In 2 hours, 2 B-52s can monitor 140,000 square miles of ocean surface. Number 8. The F15 Strike Eagle. The F15 Strike Eagle, produced by the McDonnell Douglas Corporation, is part of the F15 Eagle family. The F-15s were delivered to the U.S. military between 1974 and 1994. The U.S. Air Force describes the F-15 Strike Eagle as an all-weather, extremely maneuverable tactical fighter designed to permit the Air Force to gain and maintain air supremacy over the battlefield. These awesome planes have a wingspan of 43 feet and are 63 feet in length. There's a 2-person crew with a pilot and a weapons systems officer. The F-15 can get 25,000 to 29,000 pounds of thrust per engine and can hit a speed of 1,875 miles per hour, which is Mach 2.5. plus accelerating to twice the speed of sound. Strike Eagles differed from regular F-15s because it's a dual-role fighter jet. These planes can do air-to-air combat or do air-to-ground combat. They're equipped with some amazing state-of-the-art technology that sets them apart from other military jets. These jets can detect ground targets from a long distance. The Strike Eagles have low-altitude navigation and targeting infrared for night or lantern systems. This allows them to fly at low altitude and hit targets day or night during any kind of weather conditions. These planes are incredibly accurate and absolutely feared. According to the U.S. Air Force site, the armaments for this plane include one 20mm multi-barrel gun mounted internally with 500 rounds of ammunition, 4 AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles, and 4 AIM-120 AMRAAM or 8 AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles. Finally, these jets can be armed with any air-to-surface weapon, including those that are nuclear. Oh, and let's end with an impressive stat. The F-15 is an undefeated aircraft in battle. Number 7. The F22 Raptor. Like the F-15, the F-22 Raptor is an exceptional jet when it comes to air-to-air and air-to-ground combat. This jet was tested in the 1990s and was involved in some combat missions during the 2010s. The F-22 Raptor was designed by Lockheed Martin and has a wingspan of 45 feet and is 62 feet long. The one-man crew-operated aircraft carries 6 advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles, or AMRAAMs, and 2 AIM-9 Sidewinders for air-to-air situations. When it comes to air-to-ground situations, the F-22 carries 2 GBU-32 Joint Direct Attack Munitions, or Smart Guided Bombs. Like the F-15, the F-22 is an all-weather type of jet that can be used in any time of day. While these jets are awesome, they come with an unbelievable price tag. The cost to build one, including research and development, is an astonishing $334 million per F-22. The Air Force wanted 700 built, but had to cut that number down due to the insane costs. What kind of plane would you love to take a test flight on? Let us know in the comments below, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Number 6. The AC-130 Spooky Spectre. The AC-130 is a heavily armed aircraft incorporating side-firing weapons. With a wingspan of 132 feet and 97 feet in length, it provides close air support and is great for armed reconnaissance. The AC-130 is perfect for perimeter and point defense, escort landing, drop and extraction zone support, and combat search and rescue. The AC-130 has been used since the Vietnam War. Over 10,000 trucks were destroyed by this plane, and this plane played a key role in life-saving close air support missions. The AC-130 was used in missions in Grenada and Panama. The resume does not end there because the AC-130 also saw action in Desert Storm and was used in Afghanistan and Iraq. What's great about the AC-130 is that it is equipped with an extremely accurate fire control system. There's a 105mm howitzer, a 40mm Bofors gun that fires 100 rounds a minute, and twin 20mm Vulcan cannons. This plane is beyond intimidating on the battle. Number 5. The A10 Thunderbolt II Warthog. What was the Air Force's first aircraft specially designed for close air support of ground forces? The answer is the A10 Thunderbolt II, or Warthog. A prototype made its first flight in 1972, and the aircraft was delivered to the U.S. Air Force between 1976 and 1984. This aircraft has been incredibly reliable for the military for many years. There was a time when the A10 Thunderbolt II was going to be retired, but it turned out to be a valuable asset during the Gulf War from 1990 to 1991. The plane has a wingspan of 57 feet and is 53 feet long. The A10 Thunderbolt has a 30mm Gatling gun that's capable of firing 6,000 rounds a minute. It's also capable of carrying bombs and rockets. The A10 has no problem taking on tanks or light maritime attack aircraft. The A10 Thunderbolt II is designed to get home safely, and the pilots are protected by a titanium bathtub. According to the U.S. Air Force, the A10 can survive direct hits from armor-piercing and high-explosive projectiles up to 23mm. Their self-sealing fuel cells are protected by internal and external foam. Manual systems back up their redundant hydraulic flight control systems. This permits pilots to fly and land when hydraulic power is lost. This aircraft might not be the fastest or the prettiest one in the skies, but with its amazing track record, the A10 Thunderbolt II is a force to be reckoned with. Number 4. The F16 Fighting Falcon. To put it simply, the F-16 is not a prized aircraft for the U.S. military, but it is a sought-after aircraft for air forces around the world. It has maneuverability and is a proven fighter jet. In air-to-air situations, the F-16 is the kind of plane that can get in, take out the target, and return home safely. When it comes to air-to-ground situations, the F-16 is the type of aircraft that can fly 500 miles, deliver a striking blow, and then return home. There is something else exceptional about the F-16. According to the U.S. Air Force, the F-16 can withstand up to 9 Gs, 9 times the force of gravity, which exceeds the capability of other current fighter aircraft. These planes are smaller and they have a 32-foot wingspan and are 49 feet long. The first F-16 model flew in 1976, and in 1979, the first operational F-16 was delivered to the U.S. military. The plane was built under a consortium with Belgium, Norway, Denmark, and the Netherlands. This is an exceptional aircraft that has been used by the U.S. and its allies. It was used in the Israeli-Syrian conflict in 1982 and was also used during the Persian Gulf War. The F-16 was also used during the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. As the years have gone by, the upgrades for the F-16 have been impressive. It's still a go-to aircraft. Number 3. The AH64 Apache. If we're going to discuss a deadly helicopter, then let's talk about the incredibly awesome but scary AH64 or Apache helicopter. This helicopter is the pride and joy of the U.S. Army. The AH64 Apache was introduced to the U.S. Army in 1984, and its job is destroying armored vehicles, taking out personnel, and destroying certain targets in obscured battlefield conditions. Also, the Apache can go deep into enemy territory to conduct secret missions. And that's not all it does on the battlefield. The Apache provides support to ground forces and does reconnaissance. This twin-engine helicopter can go up to 184 miles an hour and can be in combat situations for 2.5 hours. It's armed with 16 Hellfire missiles, 76 2.75-inch rockets, and has a 30mm chain gun. Not only is this a top weapon for the U.S. Army, but it's used by militaries in Australia, India, Israel, Japan, South Korea, and the United Kingdom. What's absolutely amazing about the Apache and its legacy is that the U.S. military wants it to be their primary attack helicopter into the 2060s. How's that for a reputation and durability? Number 2. The SR71 Blackbird. The SR71 Blackbird was an incredibly fast plane designed to conduct strategic reconnaissance missions at high altitudes. What's scary about this aircraft is that it could hit speeds of 2,200 miles an hour, which is 3 times the speed of sound. Oh, and this could also be accomplished while flying at an altitude of 80,000 feet. The SR71 has a wingspan of 55 feet and is 107 feet in length. The plane had a crew of 2 and was made of titanium because the plane was flying at top speeds with a high altitude. This led to kinetic heat. The temperatures at 80,000 feet were around minus 70 degrees, but the speed of the aircraft created heat along the edges of the plane that hovered around 800 degrees. This plane was designed for the Cold War, so the US could conduct secret intelligence-gathering missions. It had its first flight in 1964, but the fleet was retired in 1990 due to costs associated with operating these planes. Those pilots that flew in the SR-71 had to wear a full-pressure suit for protection because they were flying at such high altitudes. And at number 1, the MiG-25 Foxbat. The Mikoyan-Gurevich MiG-25 Foxbat was an aircraft that looked absolutely horrifying on paper, but turned out to be more hype than anything else. Developed by the Soviet Union during the 1960s, the MiG-25 was an aircraft that could match the SR-71 Blackbird. These planes could go over 1,800 miles an hour and reach altitudes of 98,000 feet in minutes. With a payload, the plane could go 2,300 miles per hour, and without it, it could do 2,900 miles per hour. What's incredible about this plane is that it was capable of flying at an altitude of 123,000 feet. This plane definitely caught the attention of the United States. However, upon close examination, the MiG-25 was more of an illusion than anything else. Intelligence reports and photographs showed that these planes were constantly being repaired and tinkered with. The MiG-25 was not built with titanium like the SR-71 Blackbird, so a heavier metal had to be used for these high-altitude missions. This made the MiG-25 some 15,000 pounds heavier than the American counterpart. However, the MiG-25 was armed with missiles, unlike the SR-71 Blackbird. This made the plane an interceptor and a reconnaissance plane. The United States wanted to know everything it could about the plane and was pretty much handed a model when defector Viktor Belenko landed at a Japanese airport. The Japanese allowed the US Air Force to examine the plane, and that's how they gathered more data on the MiG-25. Is there a scary aircraft we left off this list? Let us know down below in the comments. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.